All right, Independence Day weekend. It's simply Bitcoin, and it's also the weekend recap. Anyways, we break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, the meme review, software releases, the websites by Plebs or Plebs. Drop us a like, subscribe. All right, we're going to the numbers. Let's do it.
Number time.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 689,677. The Bitcoin price, 35,765. Chain rewrite days, 1,078. Why haven't they started to really drop? Anyways, total public lightning capacity, 1,659.23. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 5.75%, and sats per dollar, 2,796.
Man, it looks like we're going to need another difficulty adjustment from the looks of things.
That's
but we'll know. We'll know.
Your network, though.
Yeah, that is, man. It's a nation state attack, and Bitcoin survived. I'm surprised not more people are talking about it, bro. You know, like what other network could resist a nation state attack like from China?
You know what? That's a good point. And actually, to your point, I'm ordering an ASIC. Right? I was listening to Hodl Tarantula talking on Twitter Spaces today, and I saw that he pinned a tweet, that he's got some ASICs for sales. I was like, all right. I'm like, you know what? $350, I'll bite. For me, it's a learning experience, right? Because the stuff that I mined before was total garbage. So
you're going to learn so much about another side of the Bitcoin network that a lot of people don't get to see. And you're going to appreciate the Bitcoin network like 100 times more than you do now.
Well, that's it. I don't know much about this aspect, so I'm excited.
It's not that hard. It's plug and play. It's kind of like, once it's
not the learning. Pray. Plug and pray like everything else.
So one machine is okay. Once you start dealing with like 2, 3, 4, 5, then it starts to blow out sockets if you don't do the conversion from 120 to 240. But one S9 isn't, it's perfectly fine. It's going to make your basement really hot, Phil. That I'll tell you for sure. Really hot and really loud.
Maybe I don't need to get a dehumidifier now.
Definitely not, dude. This thing is like an industrial heater, bro. Like it's a very loud industrial heater, So, but yeah, man, awesome, cool stuff. Everyone should get an ASIC just to kind of even with the intention of it's not that you're going to make a lot of money. It's not like you're going to get rich, right? But you're going to learn something.
No, that's it. Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly. For me, it's like I have a bunch of nodes. I have fun with the nodes. It's like, you know what? At this price point, for me, it's worth a try.
Dude, and
just to see, like, just to learn about it.
And the S9, that's a legendary machine, bro. That machine's been around for 5 years. At one point, it controlled 25% of the Bitcoin hash rate was coming from that S9. And that puppy's still working if you got cheap enough electricity. It's a legend. It's a legend of a machine by Bitmain. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the daily fail.
Those in the cryptocurrency space are naturally pro-crypto. Their fortunes, their relevance, their fame depends upon the success of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is something you can bet on. But if people want to have the animal spirits to take risks, I'd prefer them to invest in equity markets to support the building of American companies, or the California lottery to support the schools in my state. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile. So if one person makes $1 million and retires at age 45, and 9 lose $100,000, Coinbase makes money. The one millionaire goes on TV and says how wonderful it is. And 9 others do not retire in dignity, but instead become eligible for Medicaid. Cryptocurrencies can ultimately be successful only if they're successful currencies. And evading the know your customer rule is the one thing that cryptocurrencies have as an advantage to the US dollar. Cryptocurrencies have the political support of the patriotic anarchists who are rooting for tax evasion. I hope we shut it down.
All right, everyone. You all watched the same video that we just did. That's pretty disingenuous bullshit, I would say. Anyways, it's amazing, right? Of course, he would rather that you put your money in equity, right? Rather that you put it into the circus that is the stock market. So you end up holding an IOU of an IOU.
I'd also like to point out, Phil, that
Yeah.
no one has ever lost a single dollar holding Bitcoin for 4 years. If you hold Bitcoin for 4 years, you've made money, period. Right? So that narrative that yes, if you start investing in shit coins, I absolutely agree with him. But if you hold Bitcoin at least for one full cycle, no one has ever lost money.
And you know what else? I just want to add to that before I completely forget. He talks about the only thing that, because I for me, it's all about Bitcoin. I don't really care about the shit coins. But, the only thing it's good at is evading KYC. No, it has to do with censorship resistance. It has to do with taking the monetary policy out of the hands, okay, of the greedy, incompetent central bankers that have made life much more difficult for everyone.
And that paid no consequences for their mistakes.
Consequences.
Nothing.
So, all right, but now we're gonna dive in. Here we go. Exposed. Oh, that's a shock, right? It's happened over the weekend. Congressman trying to shut down cryptocurrency gets biggest donations from big banks and financial institutions.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, and he advises that you invest in equity markets, right? And he's talking about how people in Bitcoin only have, their relevance is only in Bitcoin. Well, apparently his relevance is only in the fiat equity markets. So he's shilling his stuff too. The only difference is that our stuff is hard capped and we know the monetary policy. So fuck you.
And you can take actual possession of it, unlike his shitty equities. That's
right. Exactly. Okay. So, and not to mention the fact that companies have a board of directors and they can, they can go and dilute the value of your shares by adding more shares onto the market and doing splits and stuff like that, under the guise of increasing liquidity and stuff like that. Anyways, let's take a look at some of his backers, right? Tell me who pays you and I'll tell you who you're loyal to. Well, Capital Group, Blackstone, Blackrock, American Bankers Association, Capital One Financial, Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab probably has one of the biggest trading houses, in the world, right? So it's one of the oldest names in trading, stock trading, that is. Credit Union National Association, Discover Financial Services, a credit card company, and Deloitte, another financial services company.
So he sold his soul to the devil. Huh?
Okay, so, and of course, and it's a shock. This guy hates Bitcoin. Oh my God, what a shock.
Right? It's almost as if he's representing his donors rather than the people that elected him.
And let's just take a look. I mean, because I, of course, right, Bitcoiners, this was a tweet from this was Grubels that retweeted it. It's Craig Warmke. I hope I pronounced the name right. Anyways, we've got to keep pace with China. China is close to banning all cryptocurrencies. If we fail to keep up with China, we will fall behind. So using the old China narrative for it. But as we just said, right? As we just said, really great job. These guys, they're disingenuous pricks, okay? At the end of the day, we are not paid by the Bitcoin Corporation, okay? Like, there is nobody that freaking cuts us a check or anything like that. We believe in Bitcoin, so we talk about Bitcoin, and we do a show about Bitcoin, and this is fun. So that's what it is. We believe in what Bitcoin stands for. We believe that a world is going to be better with the Bitcoin standard. So we're putting our fiat money where our mouth is, and we're converting it into Bitcoin. That's what it is. This guy actively gets paid by these companies to provide terrible information and terrible advice. Okay? And not only that, he even advised that you put money into a lottery. Okay? Lotteries are taxes on the stupid. That's what that is. It's a tax on people who can't do math. I'm sorry. Like, look, there's plenty of people that play lottery. My parents play lottery. But that's, this is what happens. Everybody plays lottery, and unfortunately, you're not going to win. So there's really no point. So again, bad advice, shill for the banks. We can see who pays him.
Man, so Brad Sherman is a tyrant, and he's against freedom. He's against human freedom, right? This guy's, he's an evil man. He's bought and paid for by these corporations. I thought I saw BlackRock in there.
Oh,
BlackRock
you sure did?
is one of those companies that's buying up, all that property in New
That's
York
right.
to make people renters, right? So it's like, this is who's supporting this guy, right? This is an evil, right? This is an evil dude, right? When I see that, and he's just going out there, and exactly what you said about the lottery. It's like, Phil, if you hold Bitcoin for 4 years, no one has ever lost money. But you could play the lottery for 4 years and you could never win the lottery. In fact, you could play the lottery for the rest of your goddamn life and you still don't have good odds at winning the lottery, right?
My parents are in their 70s. They've never won the lottery.
If you stack Bitcoin for the rest of your life, I could guarantee you will be very fucking happy you did so, right? So yeah, man, like, look, it's disingenuous. Maybe I think he was conflating the shit coins with Bitcoin. I think that's what he was doing. But, it's just disingenuous. He's lying. He's evil. And look at the people that are supporting him, bro. Those are all parasitic fiat rent-seeking institutions. Every single one of them, right? So yeah, man, we have to keep calling him out because, oh, man, yeah.
I know it's just brutal, right? Like you sit there and you wonder again, like you said, enemy of freedom, like how is it possible that somebody can sit there and say all of these things and actually believe them, right? Well, there you go. This is how they get paid. This guy made it think about it. Like that's over $100K for absolutely nothing, but saying outright lies, which, let's be honest, he's in the business of saying outright lies.
Yep. So. It's the nature of the beast, man. The fiat system incentivizes lies and Bitcoin incentivizes the truth. I'm sorry, Phil, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, right? Like, you know what? To your point, okay? BlackRock is an investor and they're part of the group that is, that is essentially buying up land so that you end up renting everything.
Yes.
So he is, of course, he's also pushing the narrative of, the 2030, you'll have nothing and be happy.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure I'm sure he gets invited, man. I'm sure he gets invited to all their parties, dude. It's an evil dude.
He just gets invited to watch.
Oh, man. But look, it's our job as the plebs, right, to keep calling out Brad Sherman, dudes like Brad Sherman, dudes like Steve Hanke, which we're going to cover a lot this week, right? We have to keep calling out their bullshit, and we have to keep memeing them out of existence.
Yeah.
Because if you looked at that guy's tweet, and you looked at that guy's YouTube video when he first posted it, Brad Sherman, he got ratioed and his dislikes were crazy. I think he got like 78 dislikes to 3 likes. It was just like, it's glorious. So the truth is getting out, but it's really important that we stay on top of them, keep the pressure on. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review.
All right, everybody. It is Independence Day. We're filming this on Sunday. You guys are going to see this on Monday. But because it's Independence Day, I love this. I love this meme. Our founding fathers would be considered domestic terrorists in today's America, right? It's got the laser eyes, and of course they're signing Declaration of Independence. And listen, I agree with that. Let me read you a quote from Thomas Jefferson. And this article was written in the 2008 financial crisis. So, this is when everyone was still upset. And this is exactly when Bitcoin was born, around this time, 2008, 2009. Thomas Jefferson giving an advance warning of 2008, some 200 years later. To quote Thomas Jefferson, "I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allowed private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around these banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. The issuing power of currency shall be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs." And this is exactly what Bitcoin is doing. Yep. That last line gave me chills. And Phil, because that was such a good meme, I'm going to give it a very special score. I use this every single day. It's very important. Everyone has to get one of these. It's phenomenal. I'm going to give it a toothbrush and some toothpaste. Make sure you take care of your oral hygiene.
Very nice.
Yeah. What about you?
That. Okay. So yeah, I love the score. Who was that meme? Who posted the meme though?
Oh,
Gotta
dude,
give a shout out to that pleb.
yeah, I got so carried away.
It was Kaz. Kaz.
Let me give a shout out. It was by Kaz Biko.
Biko?
You can go follow him at BTC Biko.
Or Biko. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyways, all right. I am giving this thing my old iPod Touch.
Ooh.
Got like a very old iPod Touch. Yeah, it still works if you power it up.
The battery is probably dead.
Dead.
Right? It just doesn't work.
It has to stay plugged in the whole time. But it has music on it that like I can't seem to get off, and for some reason I can't seem to Shazam. So it's just killing me.
Yeah,
Anyways, that was a great meme though, you know, and it's true. Just to the point, right? They would be considered domestic terrorists today. Okay, so we need to remember like what has changed is our narrative, and we're doing a lot of wordsmithing with our lives. Even the word wordsmithing is wordsmithing. It's fucking bullshit. Anyways, all right.
So yeah, no, I agree, Phil. It's good to remember that the dudes before us, the people that made, declared independence from Great Britain, man, they were freedom fighters, right? And, I think that we're not fighting a kinetic war, but we're fighting an information war. And I think that every time you buy yourself some Bitcoin and you post a meme, you're firing a metaphorical shot. You're fighting for freedom, right? So,
That's right.
So yeah, it's good. It's good to remember. But anyways, Phil,
Never forget.
Never forget. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by
Crypto Cloaks.
All right, guys, not that much news today. It is a weekend recap. Usually not that much news over the weekend, but anyways, check it out. The Bitcoin difficulty adjustment. We talked about this on the last episode, but it didn't actually happen. It actually happened. The number, it was the largest difficulty adjustment in Bitcoin's history, and the actual number was 27.9%, right? That's huge. That's huge. And of course, this is to incentivize Bitcoin miners to start mining again, right? Because the block time was taking longer because China cut off all the miners within their country, right?
I want to add one piece to this before we move on. I think I saw a FUD article on Benzinga or something like that was claiming, okay, that because of the Bitcoin price, what was it? No, the difficulty adjustment occurred because China took the miners offline. Let's just understand something. This adjustment takes place, rain or shine. It's part of the code. Yes, we understand the variation in the number was different because of what happened with China, but in no way did that adjustment take place because of because of those miners going offline.
Yes.
Okay, that's a completely false narrative. Now, don't get me wrong, the rest of the article isn't so fuddy, but I just, it's a mainstream thing, and there's, people, you don't know what people are reading, so I just want to put it out there,
True that. And I just want to point out, guys, like, look, 27.9%, you see that, I was like, wow, that's the biggest that's ever happened in history. Guys, Bitcoin just survived an attack from a nation state, one of the most powerful nation states in the world. And the worst thing that happened was that blocks started to come in a little bit slower. Okay. Name me one other network that is able to do that. I'll wait. Ethereum can't do that.
Nope.
Ethereum, if they shut down AWS, if they arrest the people in the Ethereum Foundation, it's gone the next day. Try doing that with Bitcoin. Okay. Try. Right? The white paper's under attack. China attacked it, and the honey badger doesn't care. It keeps going. A block keeps churning out. Right? So super. It shows Bitcoin's resilience. But anyways, moving on to the funniest article I read over the weekend.
Oh yeah, this was
by
great.
the Financial Times. This is serious. Okay, this isn't a joke or anything.
I wanted to make this a fail, but let's dive in, shall we?
Let's all please stop calling fiat money. Let's all please stop calling dollars fiat money. And the follow-up is so funny. Currencies are not memes. This is how you know we are winning. This is how you know the matrix is breaking. And this is how you know the memes are very effective, okay? Currencies are not memes that only have value because the governments say they do. I want you guys to remember this last part, okay? I'm going to read you a quote from the article itself, okay? The banks have accounts, and this is Ben Bernanke. He was getting interviewed. The banks have accounts with the Fed, much the same way that you have an account in a commercial bank. So to lend to a bank, we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account that they have at the Fed. The host asked him whether the Fed has been printing money. Well, said Bernanke, effectively. So
Indeed.
they're just printing money. And this is exactly why we could meme them out of existence, because it is a joke, okay? So the matrix is breaking, okay? It's obvious it's breaking. It's obvious that the memes are effective, but it gets even funnier, okay? This was a tweet by
a crappy cookout this year?
This was a tweet by the White House. Planning a cookout. Catch up on the news. According to the Farm Bureau, the cost of 4th of July barbecue is down from last year. It's a fact you must heard. Hot dog, the Biden economic plan is working, and that's something we could all relish. Okay, guys, this is propaganda. Why is this propaganda? This is telling you that inflation isn't a thing, okay? And the great savings from last year is 16 cents. What the fuck could you do with 16 cents? 16 goddamn cents. And I'm sure they look.
Hey, wait. When the fuck does your cookout look like that? When the fuck does your cookout look like this? There's one going on next door. None of this is there. They're all fucking cooking steaks.
And I'm sure that
kidding me?
I'm sure that they picked, they're very specific on what prices they picked to fit the narrative. But it must be so bad that they couldn't find cheap enough prices that they can only save you 16 cents. And as Dan Held put, is this anti-inflation propaganda?
It sure is.
It is. It's crazy. It's
man.
like this is black. This isn't black. This is white. This isn't 2 + 2 isn't 4. It's 5, right? It's so crazy. And look, the matrix is breaking, right? Let's all please stop calling dollars fiat money. They release propaganda like this. And let's take a look at the truth. This is a tweet by Gita Gopinta, and it looks like she's got a blue check mark. But anyways, let's check out her tweet. Inflation is running above target in many countries from multiple factors, including transitory pressures. While markets expect advanced economy central banks to see through this and keep rates low, emerging market central banks are expected to hike rates quickly despite weaker recoveries. Okay, so I want to focus on this part. From multiple factors, including transitory pressures. No! The inflation is there because they printed 40% of the goddamn money supply last year alone.
Inflation doesn't happen if you don't print the money.
Oh my man.
Okay? There's nothing to inflate if it's not inflatable.
It's crazy.
I think we need to go back to the basics. Okay. I'm sorry. I just the fiat thing. I just want to quickly add before you go on your rant. It's money by decree. And that's exactly what it is. It's money that is enforced, right? It's enforced by the army.
Of course.
Like that, plain and simple, you are coerced to use it. So anyways, continue.
The petrodollar. Okay, so let's take a look at this, guys. Okay, and I just want you to focus on this part. Okay.
Hold on, I gotta go heat up my beans and pork for my cookout. It's a big hit. Everyone's waiting for it.
You're gonna save 16 cents, Phil. So look,
everyone's waiting.
Inflation is running above target in many countries from multiple factors, including transitory pressures.
It's transitory, all right. No, but what transitory pressures is it though? Like, does she cite them? Like, which ones are they exactly?
It's a blue check mark. Okay, you can't believe it's like inflation's gotten so bad that the government could no longer ignore it, which is why they released, the anti-inflation propaganda, which is why they have a blue check mark saying transitory pressures, but it has nothing to do with the money printer going whoop, right? That can't be it, so man, it's crazy. And look, going back to what Brad Sherman was saying, right, back in the Daily Fail, okay, this is why Bitcoin is important, okay, to opt out of your fucking madness, okay, to opt out of the politicians' money, okay, that is how you save your family, okay, that is why Bitcoin's important. It's not a speculative asset. It's you're protecting yourself from these crazy people in charge of the money supply. So yeah, man. So
100%.
So look, guys, we covered a couple days ago. We covered and we got a lot of positive comments in regards to it's 2030. You'll be happy. You'll own nothing, right? When we first covered that around 6 months ago, I remember telling Phil it felt like a conspiracy theory. Okay, but then more and more evidence started to come out, right? for example, them deleting the article. You can't find it in the World Economic Forum. You had, Tucker Carlson covering, BlackRock, essentially buying all the properties up in New York and essentially making people renters, right? So something happened on on Friday's episode of Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson said exactly what we were saying 6 months ago. Let's check out the clip.
And for multinational corporations like BlackRock, the point is driving down the cost of homes even further and building more apartment high-rises in the suburbs. That has been the goal of the most powerful people in the world for some time. In fact, it was just a few years ago, it was 2016, that the World Economic Forum released a video explaining, and we're quoting, "You'll own nothing and you'll be happy."
So, redemption for Simply Bitcoin, baby, right? Because 6 months ago, we were saying this, and for sure, some of us could have labeled us a conspiracy theorist, but it becomes so obvious you could no longer ignore it, right? Some of our fans were kind enough to find the original article because the World Economic Forum deleted it, right? And let's check it out. Apparently,
Copernicus, I think.
Copernicus. Shout out to Copernicus. So Copernicus found a copy of the original article. So you can't find it on the World Economic Forum website anymore, but you can still find it on Forbes. They forgot to delete this one. Check it out. Welcome to 2030. I own nothing. It's even worse than I own nothing. I own nothing. Have no privacy, and life has never been better.
We forgot about that.
Right? Anyways, let's check out the article. Mind you, this is 100% real. I'm gonna link this article down in the description. Okay. Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say our city. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. And they're right. BlackRock owns everything. And if you
so does Walmart.
If you scroll down, in our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we do not need it. My living room is used for businesses meeting when I'm not there. So imagine a bunch of strangers just going into your living room. Now, this is what they're trying to peddle. This is what they're trying to sell. Okay, this is propaganda. Once in a while, I get annoyed about the fact that I have no real privacy, nowhere I can go and not be registered. I know that. Somewhere, everything I do, I think, and dream of is recorded. I just hope that nobody will use it against me.
One can only hope. And you know what? You can trust them.
And these are the same motherfuckers that want you to use central bank digital currencies. These are the same people.
Of course they are.
Brad Sherman is backed by these people, okay? These are psychopaths. And it's crazy because if you Google this article, you can't find it. It's very hard to find. The first thing that comes up is a fact check from Reuters, and it says the World Economic Forum does not have a stated goal to have people own nothing by 2030.
No, you just put out FUD articles about it.
Was I just reading? What the fuck was I reading, Phil?
And look what it says. World Economic Forum contributor.
What was I reading?
It's the contributor. The contributor is the World Economic Forum. But look at the psychotic dystopia, right? It's so hypocritical. It's so completely insane.
Dude, it's Aurelian. It's Aurelian as shit.
So I just want to add, right? Somebody on, I think it was Amoeba or something like that was looking for the original articles. Okay. So we went back and found the original Simply Bitcoin episode from 5.5 months ago. And the video that Nico linked in that video that we played, okay, from the World Economic Forum, that video's gone. It's just completely vanished. That page, you can go type that URL exactly letter for letter and it is gone.
And what replaced it was a fact check. How crazy is that?
Well, that's for the article. The article was a fact check, but now the video is just completely gone. Nothing replaces it.
It's like you did not see what you thought you saw, okay?
No, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there. It's crazy,
It's lies. But look,
crazy.
But look, now we have this building evidence, and on top of that, take a look. Now there's this episode on top of it,
and
right? That puts all that information together.
Dude, and we got Tucker. He's saying the same shit. He's saying the same shit we were seeing 6 months ago, baby. Yep. The same shit because it's just so apparent, okay? And I don't think it's a coincidence that Brad Sherman, the guy that's against Bitcoin, is also sponsored by the people that are buying up all the property to make sure that you own nothing in 2030. and be happy, right? So fuck you, Brad Sherman. I'm going to own Bitcoin and I'm definitely going to be happy. But Phil, there was a software release. No, there was a website by Plebe. Why don't you show everybody?
Websites by Plebs or Plebs. So the Plebs help us out a lot. All right. Shout out to Neil Michaud, fellow Bitcoiner. Was like, hey, why don't you mention this on Simply Bitcoin? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. What am I talking about? It's not giving anyone any context. Okay. So at Dan Sanchez, bitcoinschool.com, he looks like, I think that he created this, but bitcoinwaffles.com taking shape since last night. What's bitcoinwaffles.com? Makes me hungry.
It does make me hungry.
I like waffles. I'm a big waffle fan. Ooh, isn't there like a huge debate between waffle or pancake?
There is.
I remember seeing that. I remember like seeing people go to war over this. They're freaking out. There was like the triggered memes, everything. People were like dying on this hill. By the way, I think they're both good. And that'll be typical, right? It's like, of course, Phil's on the fence. He thinks they're both good. I do think they're both good. They each have their place, okay? Sometimes waffles, sometimes pancakes. Deal with it. They each have their place. Okay. Anyways, bitcoinwaffles.com. Here we go. Bitcoin Waffles is the first ever open source franchise to empower Bitcoiners around the world with a simple yet powerful business idea. Want to own your own Bitcoin Waffles franchise? Reach out. I don't really know what this is about totally, but he's not making a shitcoin, which is great. And it looks like he's creating some type of an avenue for Bitcoin businesses. So you know what? I'm all about spreading the word. Why not? For people that are interested, take a look. Bitcoinwaffles.com.
Bitcoinwaffles.com sounds
has a good little ring.
Looks super cool. And yeah, man, I'm so glad that this is happening on a global scale. It's not only the US. You see I think it said Guatemala, right? I think was the country. So it's really cool,
yeah,
man.
That's right. Sorry.
Support Bitcoiners from Guatemala. Go to bitcoinwaffles.com. Awesome domain, by the way. But yeah, right? Guys, that was the weekend recap. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash the like button. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the pleb perspective and the catastrophic fiat and shitcoin fails, definitely consider subscribing, and we will see you on the next episode of Simply Bitcoin.
Bitcoin isn't a company.